Stop bitching, resonates through the small room as Mr. Jimmy Washington, my counselor from the VA counseling. Visit number 4, I tell myself. So this is it. I've been back in my rack for about 4 months now, and I'm still struggling to sleep. Nights become long stretches of staring at the ceiling, or wild nightmares of mortars flying through the air and exploding beside me. People covered in blood crying for help. Helicopters crashing, gunshots, fires, and an overall chaos that feels so real. There are times where I've gone without sleep for 2 days, and days where I wake up from vivid nightmares, in a cold sweat, or crying. This is not how I want to live my life. I went to the Naval Hospital in Camp Pendleton where they gave me a pamphlet on creating healthy sleep cycle, prescribed me 5 pills of Ambien, and told me that he's only giving me 5 pills because it's highly addictive. The pamphlet goes in the trash, but I give the pills a chance and start them the following Monday. It's 9 p.m., and I take a tiny oval pill, and within minutes I'm asleep. The next day, I wake up groggy as if someone knocked me out and then shook me back to life a few hours later. There was no dreaming, thinking, there was nothing. I tell myself that it may have been because it's my first time, and my body wasn't used to it. I try again the next 3 nights. The same empty sleep. This isn't sleep, I tell myself 4 pills into this experiment. I decide not to take the last one. I continue my struggle with sleeping for the next 2 months until I'm off active duty. I'm now enrolled in college, working several part-time jobs, along with trying to struggle my demons. They're winning. And again, I seek help from the VA. I show up at the vet center, this time feeling hopeful for some genuine help. I walk in and see several veterans in various stages of despair. One looks like he's in pain, another looks angry, one is asleep, and one just looks sad. I don't make eye contact with any of them and check in with reception. A few minutes later, I'm called to a small corner office decorated with several framed degrees, books, and a small military trinket scattered throughout. Mr. Jimmy Washington introduces himself and begins to tell me about himself. He's a burly man, built like a Mack truck, and probably a former football player. But I don't bother asking to confirm my thoughts. He then tells me I have 4 visits and how I would like to schedule them. I said I'd like to come once a week. After he glances at his calendar, he tells me it's not possible. Instead, he scatters my 4 visits throughout the next 2 months. Right away, he begins to shoot questions at me. So what's the problem? Tell me about yourself. What happened? Why are you here? I don't know where to start. I think he noticed the blank look on my face and went back to, tell me about yourself. My name is Juan. I'm 21 and go to RCC. I was on active duty with the Marines for the past 4 years, and now I'm on the reserves. I say very mechanically. Okay, Juan, nice to meet you. Now tell me why you are here. I have a hard time sleeping at night. I trailed off. I didn't want to mention the nightmares. Yeah. What else? I hesitated for a moment, sitting on a faded red padded office chair that probably has seen more asses than a donkey farm. Across from Mr. Washington as he stares at me from his fancy fucking leather-covered executive chair. What else? He repeated. I snapped back to reality from my angry little daydream. I have these vivid nightmares where I'm back in Iraq. I continued with detailing all the horrific parts. It's hard to get it out. My heart is racing and I'm almost transported back. Why do you think you have them? He answers back. What kind of response is that? I think to myself. You're here to help me find answers, not keep asking questions. I'm not sure why I have them. My first deployment in 2004, we received indirect fire almost daily. Sometimes up to 16 mortars in a single attack. During my second one, it wasn't as often, but they still came in regularly. There was one time where I took some small arm fires while flying from base to base. I remember the bullets pinging as they hit my helicopter, praying they wouldn't hit me as the gunner engaged them with the minigun. Did anybody die? He continues with the damn questions. From my unit, we lost 1 person during an air support mission, and 1 from a mortar attack. While in the base, several were wounded from mortar fire. From other units on the base, several people were killed from mortar fire. Our church was destroyed, our chow hall was hit, Several tents got hit and burnt down. My hangar was hit feet away from where I was working, along with the phone center. Not counting the ones that landed in the empty spaces, shooting their shrapnel everywhere. Were any of your friends hit? He continued. Yes. One lost part of her arm from a mortar attack. One took shrapnel in the ass. Another one took shrapnel all over his back, just days before we were scheduled to come back. That mortar landed right where I was walking, too. A few minutes earlier, and it would have been me. I see, but you made it. You're here. You should be happy. Yeah, I know. But I'm glad I'm here. I say that at a very awkward tone. So what's the problem? Do you have survivor skill? He reverts back to the questions. I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure what I have, as I continue to think as he informs me that it's time for his next appointment and my time is up. It sounds like you have survivor skills, but you shouldn't. You should be happy that you are here, you have all your fingers, all your toes. Go out and enjoy life. And I'll see you back here for our next visit. And get up, shake his hand, and walk out the door. It's not what I expected, but I also don't know what to expect. I get to my car, open the door. I get in there and I sit for a few minutes before I start the engine. What the hell was that? I think to myself. I feel no different than when I came in 2 hours ago. I tell myself that things like this take time, and I drive away. Good to see you back, Juan. So the last time we talked, it seems like you had a bit of survivor skill. Let's try and figure out why you get on the way to get you back to good mental health. It's visit number 2, and I begin to have some hope. Have you been sleeping lately? He continues. I sleep here and there. I try to keep myself busy with school and work. Good! What are you studying? He says as he turns his computer and scans the screen. Literature. I want to be a teacher. I reply as he nods while he's still scanning the screen, his back towards me. A teacher? Why not CHP or a sheriff? He asks as he turns from the screen. Lots of Marines going to law enforcement, and you should too. I can get you a pamphlet about it. He walks out and grabs a hand pamphlet. I scan the room while he's gone. He has 2 framed degrees, a BS in psychology and a master's in social work, both from universities I don't recognize. I can also see an honorable discharge certificate from the Army. Here you go, check it out. In case the whole teaching thing doesn't work out, it gets boring. Marines do well in law enforcement, and what about the Truth to Teacher program? Got any info on that? I interrupted mid-sentence. The what? Oh, I don't know much about that. I'll see what I can find out for you, he replies. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about school. I squeezed out between clenched teeth. Oh yeah. So you're going to school. You're healthy. You're back. Be happy. It seems like things are going really well for you. What's the problem? I feel fucking robbed. I shut him down before he continues with his dumbass questions. Robbed of my youth, robbed of my time, robbed of my experiences, robbed of 4 years of my fucking life. I could have been in those flag-draped coffins you see on the news. I could have died, never accomplishing anything. I could have been just another tombstone in Riverside National Cemetery. Before I was old enough to drink, I was dodging bullets and mortars. I was living in a country that hated me because of the uniform I was wearing. I feared for my life daily. While my friends back home were worried about finals, I was worried about being decapitated on TV as a political statement. Or maybe part of me did die out there. I had been in the military since I was 17, and now at 21, I feel like I've lost 4 years. I'm proud to have served my country, but now that I need help from my country, it's not keeping up its end of the deal. Yeah, but you didn't die, did you? No, I didn't, and I'm grateful for that. But when you see your friends finishing college, getting jobs, getting married, and having kids, well, I'm barely getting started. I'm 21. I'm the 21-year-old freshman, renting a room with shitty roommates, working 3 jobs to make ends meet. At 21, I have lived enough violence and destruction to last several lifetimes. The military took my youth and replaced it with a cold emptiness that I don't want to relive. When I should have been enjoying my youth, I instead spent it learning how to kill my fellow man. This sucks. I feel I had to put my life on pause for 4 years to go fight a war that had me dodging bullets, mortars, and kidnappings. A war that made me sick physically and mentally. A war that had me fearing for my life in 6-month stretches. A war that had me communicate with my family in letters and 30-minute phone calls. I missed marriages, birth, graduations, and countless other events that I will never get back. A war that most people saw through a TV screen is a war that almost killed me. I finished my sermon and looked at the clock. I could almost hear his response. Time for my next appointment. An hour is not enough. Only 2 visits. Just as I predicted, he stands up, holds out his hand, flashes that smile, and walks me out. Once again, I sit in my car digesting what just happened. It felt good. I tell this to myself as I start the car and drive away. I pull into the Corona Vet Center for visit number 3. This visit is the same as last. Mr. Washington tries and makes me feel tough by complimenting me on my desire to learn and my plan for college before ushering me out. I feel like we're getting nowhere. He's just burning through my visits. Another week passes, and it's my final visit. Mr. Washington calls my name and flashes that crazy smile. Hey Juan, how's everything been going? He asks. Good, I answer back. So this is our last session. How do you think it's been going? Do you think we have made progress? He asks in an attempt to get validation from me. I don't know. I'm not sure what I was expecting from all of this. I respond. What do you mean? He fires back. Like I said, I don't know what I was going to get out of this. I came to the VA for help because I couldn't sleep. They gave me 4 visits with you and 5 pills to help me sleep. The pills didn't work, and I'm on my last visit. I'm not sure how I feel about everything. I'm still trudging away at school, my relationship is wasting away, and my close friends are still flourishing in adulthood. Well, I'm still figuring it out. And stop bitching, he interrupts. Stop bitching, man. You made it. You're here. You're alive. You're healthy. And you are in school. You're doing something with your life. So stop bitching. You will get there. Yes, it's taking you longer than most, but you will get there. His diatribe shocks me. So stop it, man. You made it. So stop bitching. He lets out one more time. I sit there and ask myself whether or not I have a valid reason for bitching. He's right. I'm alive, healthy, and in school. So why am I here? Why can't I sleep? Mr. Washington turns back to his computer and begins typing away. He tells me my claim is not closed, and good luck, as I'm being walked out of my last visit with no real closure on any issue. That was it. I got exactly what the VA promised. If I wanted more visits, I would have to restart my claim all over again. Awesome. I get to my car, open the door, and sit down. I don't turn on my car. I don't put on my seatbelt. I don't do anything. Instead, I begin to cry. I didn't get what I wanted, but I think what I wanted was impossible. I wanted a magical fix that would allow me to put everything behind me and allow me to sleep. As I sit there and cry, I feel an overwhelming sense of release. After a few minutes, I compose myself, put on my seatbelt, turn on the car, and drive off, never to return to the Corona Vet Center. However, I could not escape the nightmares as easily as driving away from the vet center. These 4 visits and 5 pills brought me nowhere near the help I needed. I continue to battle these nightmares of fear and terror, nightmares from which I wake up in tears and covered in sweat, and it's a back and forth battle with no 2 real winners. As the years went by, I continued to battle everything alone. Depression, excessive drinking, college, marriage, divorce, and eventually grad school. In the end, I made it through school and did eventually become a teacher and earn my master's degree. But it wasn't because of Mr. Jimmy Washington. It wasn't because of the VA. It was because of the great determination ingrained in me by the Marines and continued by me. So in the end, Mr. Jimmy Washington was right. I made it. But also, fuck that guy.